So I decided to just go ahead and do the video. So let's jump into this. So this video clearly is going to be about not my picks, because there's some teams I wish were not going to the playoffs at all. But anyways, my opinions on which teams are going to make it to the playoffs. I don't know if I really want to do standings, since every single team is literally like neck and neck on both sides of the conference. But first, let me just say who's gonna make it. Fever, like I said, this is not by choice. Fever, Connecticut, New York, pause. Those three clearly are going to make it to the Eastern Conference playoffs. Now, the fourth seed is honestly up for grabs. Atlanta is 15 and 13. Chicago Sky are 14 and 15. Now, honestly, there's two types of ways that this can turn out. Atlanta, yes, have been winning, not by a lot, but they're able to win by a couple of points, and they've had some pretty big key games where they've been able to beat top teams, such as Connecticut Suns, 2-0. So definitely Atlanta, they have surprising games versus the, I guess you could say, lower teams. They don't really play so good. But versus higher teams, higher seeded teams, they actually play pretty good. I don't understand that logic, but hey, it doesn't matter because the only people that are going to playoffs are higher seeded teams. So you have Atlanta. Okay, they're on a 2-game win streak. However, you have Chicago Sky, also on a 2-game win streak. Let me just say this, because a lot of people I see, trust me, I'm not a Chicago Sky fan, of course not, and especially we just lost them by 1 point. I have no love in my heart for Chicago Sky. I love you, Tamara. But anyways, that's the hometown girl. But anyways, so like I said, I'm not a Chicago Sky fan, so I'm just speaking the truth. I see a lot of people steady hating on Chicago Sky. They just always got stuff to talk about Chicago Sky. Let me tell you one thing. In case you didn't know, there's this player, okay? There is this player. She is about, I don't even know. She's like 6'5", 6'6", you know? I don't even know. She's tall, really tall. She's one of the tallest people in the entire league. And she's a freaking beast. Alright? Now, I don't hype up people unless it's true. Excuse me, I don't hype up people I don't necessarily cheer for unless it's true. She is a monster. Sylvia Fowles. That's what this beast gets called. That's her biological name. So anyways, let me stop playing around. Sylvia Fowles, in case you haven't noticed, she's pretty much balling her freaking off these past couple of games. And honestly, the whole entire season, she did hit a little slump, just a couple of games, but it doesn't matter. I see a lot of people always talking down the Chicago Sky because of what has recently taken place. Yeah, you can say like, oh, well, in the past 10 games, you know, Atlanta's just been killing everybody. Yeah, that's true. Guess what? Chicago Sky was killing everybody in the beginning of the season when they were seeded number 2 and seeded number 3 for a wild, long run. And Atlanta sucked. Y'all know I'm not a fan of Atlanta at all. Don't step to me about Erica DeSouza, because that's my girl. But I'm not a fan. Oh, Harding, she's a beast. But I'm not a fan of Atlanta at all, period. And yes, I do live in Atlanta, but it doesn't matter. I don't like them at all. So anyways, so yeah, everybody's like, oh, Atlanta's on the run. That's nice. Atlanta sucked the whole entire like first little trimester thingy. They just were not playing good basketball at all. And yeah, of course, the typical fan. Well, Angel was hurt, and we didn't have Sancho. There's no excuses because Atlanta is actually a pretty well-equipped team, so there's no excuses. So don't step to me with that. So, anyways, like I was saying, Chicago Sky were on a run for a very long time, dominating everybody. Sylvia Fowles was the leading scorer in the WNBA. And yes, they hit a little slump. They did. But they're on 2-game winning streak now, and they're coming around. I personally, just the shooters that Sky has over the shooters that Dream have, I personally think it's going to be a battle to the finish. But I got to give my vote to the Sky. I feel like maybe Atlanta might be a better defensive team. I guess. Not by a long shot, but I just feel like the Sky are going to take it. When you see Sylvia Fowles' eyes bulge out of her head like that. I just don't see any player doing that for Atlanta. Right now, the leading scorer, or right now, the best player that's consistent meaning they go hard every single game, Erica DeSouza. This is her year. Seriously, this is her year. So, Erica DeSouza is the most consistent player on Atlanta Dream this season. And I just don't see how she can lead the whole entire team. I just don't see it. Honestly, I think Chicago Sky is only going to be like one up from them, but I do see Sylvia Fowles, Epiphany Prince, freaking Aaron Thorne shooting the way she is, Crayfield. I just feel like Chicago is better offensive, and points are the ones that count. So Chicago's going to make it in. So, personally, I can't give you guys the actual seedings because it'll just be biased, and I'm not going to just spit you biasness. I just made up a word. But anyways, I mean, my team my team is gonna be number one. I mean, we're only 3 games behind number one anyway, so it doesn't matter. No, but it doesn't matter. The seeding doesn't matter. Either way, I firmly believe New York's gonna be facing Connecticut since it's 2-3, and Indiana's gonna be facing Chicago. And I'll break it down later. Now, the West baffles me so much. It really does, cause at least like the East, they're all like one whole game separated or something. West, you have two teams that you might as well just say tied, since that little .5 really doesn't mean anything. You might as well just say tied. Seattle and Phoenix. San Antonio are breaking my heart. Oh, I skipped over links because what's the point? Anyways, San Antonio. I'm not a fan of San Antonio, but I support them. Just like I said in my other video, because they don't flop. So I respect them. I respect all their players, and I love Daniel Adams. With that being said, they're on a 6-game losing streak. And I'm looking at this for the first time. I knew they lost a couple games, but dang, that's really bad. Wow. I didn't know that. They're on a 6-game losing streak. But, see, it's two ways you can look at that. Oh, they're totally going to, like, sink out of the playoffs, or they might use this for encouragement, maybe? I don't know. It's not like they've really been getting blown out. There has been a couple blown out games, but they really are losing by just a couple of points, which is really sad. I hate when teams lose by just 1 point or a couple of points. But as soon as Daniel Adams got hurt, it just proves that she's a really talented person and she's the rookie of the year. But it also proves that she's a big key component for the San Antonio team. Even if she's not scoring any points, it's like her presence alone just needs to be on the court because she has a lot of court awareness. As soon as she went down, clearly as you can see, the team went down. 6 losing streak. That's really sad. Now, Sparks. They're kind of like the New York Liberty versus the Sun. Liberty have had about 3-4 opportunities to overlap the Connecticut Sun, and take number 2 seed. We never do it. So frustrating. But yeah, Sparks, whenever they have the chance to overlap San Antonio Silver Stars, they never get it. Yesterday with the 1-point game, even though it was a stupid call, even though it was a stupid game, period, they lost, and that's what's gonna be in the books. But I personally just see Candace Parker's drive so much. She's always that player to go the extra mile, but just like I said with Sylvia Fowles, she's done playing games. Candace, I remember even versus that the Mystics, she was having a pretty good game. And then there's just something that took over as soon as she looked up at the clock, like, hold up, we only got like 13 seconds left, and she took over. When you have players like that on your team, it's kind of like you're going to the playoffs. Candace isn't playing any more games. She's had to suffer. She's had to miss nearly 2 months, worth of games. She's done playing around. She's gonna make it to the playoffs. I firmly believe that wholeheartedly. You never know what can happen, but at the looks of things, I don't think San Antonio is gonna make it, which is sad because I really wanted this for Daniel Adams. But Sparks are gonna make it in number 4. Well, you never know, but right now, honestly, no, because they're a lot of games behind. They're gonna make it into the 4th. Now, Phoenix. Phoenix is surprising me just a tad. They don't honestly, and everybody knows Phoenix's goal: shoot, shoot, shoot. Okay? I'm not saying they suck at defense, but everybody, even the commentators, say if you're with Phoenix, you're gonna run. That's all they do is run and don't really get any stops. They just shoot, 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 shoot. So that's why when you're playing Phoenix, expect a minimum of like 90 points to be on both sides. Well, it doesn't matter about the other team. But expect a minimum of 90 points. Phoenix, surprisingly though, even though they are on a one-game winning total streak, um, they've lost, I think, the most close games. What happens when you lose close games? You don't really have a closer. Now, Diane Taurasi has been suffering back spasms, so she missed, I think it was 3 games. I don't stay on that, but I think she missed about 3 games, and they suffered, I guess. But Diana Taurasi was in the last game. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I was talking to a Phoenix Mercury fan on Facebook, and she's like, "We just lack one dedicated closer you can always count on." And I don't. It's not even the players. I feel like just there's been a lot of bad plays with with the clock winding down. Phoenix all season they've drawn up a lot of just questionable plays. Like that was what Corey Gaines drew up. Yeah, because it wasn't good. It's been consistent like that. That's one thing they are consistent in is they're gonna drop a bad game. But with Dewana Bonner on the team, getting steals and shooting threes, I love to see her play because she's so crazy. Yeah, I mean Phoenix, they're gonna make it to the into the playoffs, but at this point, I don't know exactly what seed. You never know. They could go second. They could go fourth. You don't really know. But so yeah, you got Indiana, Connecticut, New York, Chicago, Minnesota, Seattle, Phoenix, and Sparks. Let me just talk about Seattle right quick. Oh man, Lauren Jackson's back. Yeah, that's nice. Well, anyways, they are balling hard though. They are balling hard. There was a couple losses, close games. The closer didn't close, or any team, any player really didn't close. So they also kind of have that same thing with the Phoenix Mercury. Now people may look at the streaks and like, oh, they have one of the highest winning streaks right now. Don't butter it up, people. Every team goes on their little run. But I mean, I just don't see Seattle holding on to the second seed. I feel like Phoenix is gonna top it probably. So, anyways, that's my picks. I'm not even gonna go into championship because it's gonna be biased. Can you blame the kid? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. Love y'all.